What's up, guys? Stefan, S&E's Garage, and as promised, we are going to take you guys for a ride in our 2016 GS-F with some nice new RR Racing road and track coilovers. So when you order these coilovers from the guys over at RR Racing, you get a one-on-one consultation with them. And on that consultation, they're going to ask you what your plans are with the car, where you drive the car, how you drive the car, and they're going to help you basically fine-tune what spring rates that you should be running, whether they're off-the-shelf spring rates work for you. If maybe they're too stiff, they'll recommend a softer one if your roads are less than ideal. Or maybe if you're going to be tracking the car, they'll recommend something a little bit stiffer. So when I told the gentleman over there, Rafi, he's the guy that builds their coilovers, that most of the roads in my area are in pretty good shape. Most of them have been paved recently, and we're not really going to be tracking the car. He recommended going with 16 kilogram in the front and 14 in the back. Now that is stiffer than most of the other coilover packages, like the CKS, I believe, are 14 and 12 or 14 and 10. I don't think any of them out of the box run a 16 kilogram in the front, and I was a little skeptic at first. But after doing the 16 kilogram, I'm happy I did, because with the softer springs, you're gonna have to turn the dampening way up and damn near max out the damping on the shock, and that's not good for the shock because it creates heat. There's more resistance in the shock as you close those valves, and it generates heat in the oil in the shock, and it can cause premature shock failure. So right now I believe we're at 11 clicks from hard in the front and 10 clicks in the back. No, it's 11 in the front, 10 in the back. I believe that's what I did. Or is it 10 and 11? It's one or the other. I went a little bit softer, or a little bit firmer in the back because there's less weight back there. And so far, I'm happy with what we got. I don't really have any situations where I'm worried that the car is going to bottom out or the fender liners are going to rub or anything. And as you can see, it's still super dailiable. And it's very comfortable. It's not really that much firmer than the 2016 GS-F suspension. Now, if you have a 2017 and newer with the adaptive suspension, you might notice a little bit of a difference. But from the research that I've done, the 16 had the stiffest suspension of the bunch, and it's the easiest to modify, which is, again, kind of why I was looking for a 16, because I knew I was going to want to do something here with the suspension, and I didn't want to have to deal with, bypass modules for the dampening and all of that, nonsense. Now, the car handles like an absolute dream. There is absolutely no body roll when you go into a corner on these, and it's very well controlled. I don't know how to explain it. The car feels like it's on rails, and even though I have the dampening turned down to like I said, 11 and 10, it's still plenty controlled. The car, it's not bouncy. You hit the bump, it goes over the bump, that's it. It doesn't bounce you up and down. It's just hit the bump, that's it. The car's composed again. So it's super nice, and you'll see we're driving right now, we're talking, we're hitting some bumps. I have no abnormal suspension noises, and there is really not that much more noise, vibration, and harshness in the cabin. Now, because we put the Figs Engineering lower control arm bushings in the front, I do have quite a bit more feedback through the steering wheel when I hit bumps and when I go over road imperfections, and that is not a bad thing, because I think that these cars are a bit dull from the factory because they use a fluid-filled lower control arm bushing up front. Now, one other thing that I do notice is when I hit this thing from a dead stop, the car used to squat a little bit with the factory suspension. It doesn't here. The car stays composed. And that's a good thing, because you have less movement of the car. The car is more composed, your tires are flatter on the ground, and it's a better driving experience. Now, if you were to take the car at the drag strip, you'd probably want to soften the rear a little bit more to allow that weight transfer to happen, to let the weight get onto those back wheels and give you a little bit more traction off the line. But for street use, I wouldn't do that. This is literally perfect. We're doing about 55-60 miles an hour here on Route 539 in Tuckerton, New Jersey. The road is by no means perfect, but it has been paved within what I'm going to say probably the last 5 years. There are some bumps, there are some dips, and we'll hit some, let you see how the car composes itself, and you get a feel for you'll see my movement, you'll hear how the car responds. There is actually a bridge deck up here that I'm a little nervous to hit, because I haven't hit it with the coilovers yet. So you guys are going to see firsthand my reaction to it, because I haven't taken the car on this road yet with the suspension. So comes that bridge deck. Not bad at all. No complaints. This one's a little worse. Again, not bad at all. We didn't rub, we didn't scrape. The car stayed composed. Perfect. We're going to take this turn a little quick. Man, I love this car. These coilovers make this car just a notch above what it came from the factory with. I would say that this would probably be on par with the handling of an M car, BMW M car, or maybe even better. This is how they should have came from the factory. There was no body roll whatsoever back there. The car stayed planted. I powered out of the turn. I had traction in the back. The car didn't break free. It didn't slip. Perfect. Oh man. Talk about smiles per gallon. Another little bridge deck here, and then a hairpin turn, but I got a car in front of me, so I can't really go too crazy. So as you guys see, with these coilovers in the car is 100% daily drivable. You see me hitting bumps. My roads are by no means perfect, but I would say that they are better than some of the roads I've been on in other areas. So if you are in an area that's, you know, you're going to drive the car in the winter, it's got a lot of potholes, the roads aren't, you know, great, you're probably going to want to let them know that when you do your consultation, and they'll probably set you up with something a little bit more forgiving than this. Not to say that this is unforgiving, but like I said in my last video, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It is firmer than the factory suspension, but it is more controllable and is by no means unforgiving whatsoever. I would have no problem hopping in this car, hopping onto I-95 and driving into Florida right now with the way I have the suspension set up. And what's great is if I do get to a rough patch, I can pull over, I can turn the knobs a couple of clicks, and I can fine-tune the ride on the fly for the road conditions that I am on. So we're going down a residential street now with a couple of bumps. There's a couple of, there you go, manhole covers, things like that, storm drains. I just wanted to take you down this road and hit them, kind of show you how well the car is composed over them and how it's not, you know, it's not knocking my teeth loose. Now, one of the great things that RR Racing does with these front coilovers specifically is they use a helper spring in the front. So your front mainsprings are never under a preload. And when you lower the car with the coilovers, you actually use the preload collars to lower the car. And what that does is, as you lower the car, it is limiting the shock travel so that the bump stops come closer to the body of the coilover. And what that does is all out basically prevents you from being able to bottom the car out, because by limiting shock stroke, you're limiting suspension travel. And that is a good thing when you want to really lower your car. There are so many leaves on the road today, it's unbelievable. It's like snowing leaves here. Not a good day for motorcycles. Hit a patch of wet leaves and go down. Don't blow your leaves into the street, people. Alright guys, and that is going to be it for this video. I did just want to end it outside of the car, and again, for those of you that may not have seen my other videos on the car with this suspension setup, I just wanted to show exactly how it sits. To me, it's perfect. I got about 1.5 finger gap there. I was able to tune the camber out to about 1.5 degrees, so it's right in the middle of the factory spec. And this is what I would call flush fitment. The fenders and the rim and the tire are flush. And there's all these leaves I was talking about. It's crazy weather today, windy. But super happy with the suspension setup, super happy with how the car sits, and I'm even happier with how the car drives. So if this video interested you, or if you're interested in cars and you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe. We are nowhere near finished with this car yet. We got a Mustang in the garage that we are nowhere near finished with, and we got this Hemi Durango here that has not even been started yet. So please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.